In the quietness of your soul, in the silence between the chaos of your day and the echoes of your thoughts, there exists a gentle voice, one not heard with the ears, but felt deeply in the spirit. A voice that tenderly whispers, "Everything will be fine." Not because the world will suddenly become perfect, not because problems will vanish in a moment, but because you are not walking through this life alone. Because the Creator of the heavens and the earth walks beside you, carries your burdens, and holds your future in hands that have never failed, not once throughout all eternity. When you lie awake at night, burdened by thoughts too heavy to carry, with worries about tomorrow, regrets from yesterday, or the pain of what didn't go right today, God leans closer. Not in judgment, not with condemnation, but with love deeper than the oceans, and with a grace that covers everything you've done, failed to do, or hoped you could still become. Whispering again with unwavering certainty, "Everything will be fine, for I am with you, and I will never forsake you." This message, often overlooked amidst the noise of notifications, headlines, and deadlines, is not a generic phrase passed around as comfort. It is a divine truth breathed from eternity. A reminder that your life, with all its broken pieces and unfinished chapters, is still part of a holy story, written by a loving Father whose plans are not to harm you, but to give you a hope and a future that goes beyond what you can currently see, touch, or comprehend. There are moments in every soul's journey where things feel utterly still, not peaceful still, but empty, like the silence right after disappointment or just before a heartbreak. And it is in these moments that the voice of God becomes clearest, not through a loud miracle or a thunderous sign, but through a still, small voice that says, "You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. My child, everything will be fine." You see, the blessings of God are not always wrapped in material things or dramatic changes. They are often revealed in moments of unexpected strength, in sudden peace during chaos, in the courage to stand when everything inside you wants to run, in the unexplainable comfort that surrounds your heart when grief visits uninvited, in the people sent into your life when you needed love the most, and in the dreams that continue burning quietly in your heart even when everything else feels cold. Today's message from God is not a coincidence. It is a divine appointment for your weary soul, a letter written from heaven to earth, reminding you that while your prayers may sometimes feel unanswered and your cries may seem unheard, every tear you've cried has been seen, every fear you faced has been known, and every step you've taken, whether forward or falling, has been walked by the one who loved you before you even took your first breath. Let not your heart be troubled by the uncertainty of the world, by the wars and disasters, by the anger and division, or by the fear that seems to spread like wildfire. For God's promise is not just for the collective. It's personal, intimate, and aimed directly at you, the one reading this now, the one who's been waiting for confirmation, the one who needs to hear, "Yes, I am still with you. Yes, I will restore what was lost. Yes, I will bless you beyond what you've imagined. Yes, my child, everything will be fine." Even when you feel distant from God, remember, it is not He who moved, but often our pain, shame, or fear that causes us to drift. And yet, His arms remain open wide, His mercy still flows, His grace is still active, and His love still chases after you. Not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. Faithful, forgiving, patient, and eternal. There is no mistake too big, no sin too heavy, no situation too tangled that God cannot untangle it with His wisdom, cover it with His blood, and redeem it for His glory. All He asks is your surrender, not in weakness, but in trust, saying, "Lord, I give it all to you. I place it in your hands. I believe everything will be fine, not because I see the way, but because I trust in you, the way. When the road ahead seems blocked or your future feels unclear, remember this: God doesn't need you to see the entire path. He only needs you to take the next step in faith. For He will be a lamp to your feet, a light to your path. And even when you stumble, His strong arm will uphold you, guiding you back with the love of a Father who never lets go. Blessings are coming, not only in the form of answered prayers, but in the transformation of your heart, in the renewed strength that will surprise even you, in the relationships that will be healed, in the peace that will guard your mind, and in the fresh anointing that will fall upon you like rain upon dry ground, because God has not forgotten your name, your pain, or your dreams. His message for you today is not to fear the storms, for He is the God who commands the wind and the waves. Not to worry about tomorrow, for He holds tomorrow in His hands. Not to dwell in the darkness of your past, for He is the light that makes all things new. And not to question your worth, for He paid the highest price, His own Son, to prove how deeply you are loved. So lift your eyes, child of God, and do not let the weight of the world crush the light inside of you. For you were created with purpose, filled with potential, and destined to overcome. Every valley you've walked through was never meant to bury you, but to grow you. Every delay was not denial, but divine protection. And every no was God's way of preserving a better yes. You were not meant to live in fear, to shrink back in shame, or to walk through life without joy. For God did not call you to survive. He called you to thrive, to flourish, to shine like a beacon of hope in a world that has grown cold. And He will provide all that you need, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and eternally. Declare it now. Everything will be fine, because I walk not by sight, but by faith. Everything will be fine, because I am not alone. Everything will be fine, because God is still on the throne, still in control, still moving mountains, and still healing hearts. Hold on to this truth. The same God who split the sea, who fed the multitudes, who opened blind eyes and raised the dead, is the same God who listens to your whispered prayers, who walks with you through your hardest days, and who promises that though you may weep in the night, joy comes in the morning. Let this message sink deeply into your soul, that no matter what this day brings, no matter how long you've been waiting, how broken you felt, how far you've fallen, or how tired you are, God's love is relentless. His blessings are real, and His message for you is simple, clear, and forever true. Everything will be fine. So pause, breathe deeply, and allow your soul to absorb this moment of divine truth. Not rushed, not distracted, not looking around for signs or wonders, but simply rooted in the holy certainty that even in your ordinary life, God is doing extraordinary things. And though you may not yet see the fruit of your prayers, the seeds you've sown in faith through tears, worship, and quiet surrender are growing beneath the surface, watered by grace, nourished by patience, and destined to bloom in ways that will leave you in awe of the one who never forgot you. Let go of the toxic belief that you must earn God's love or prove your worth through perfection or performance. For His message is not about condemning your brokenness, but about embracing you in spite of it, transforming your scars into testimonies, and teaching you that your weaknesses are not disqualifications, but doorways through which His power is made perfect, His glory made visible, and His love made known. Even now, in this very breath you take, He is ministering to your weary soul, mending wounds you never spoke about,
calming anxieties you've hidden behind smiles, and preparing victories for you that are greater than the losses you've suffered, reminding you that He is not just the God of beginnings or endings, but the God of every in-between moment, walking with you step by step, unseen yet undeniable, gentle yet powerful, silent yet unmistakably present. Do not think that your suffering has gone unnoticed, that your faithfulness in the quiet corners of your life has been in vain, or that your kindness, shown even when it was not returned, has gone unrewarded. For God is a just Father, a generous King, and a faithful shepherd who keeps track of every act of love, every selfless decision, every prayer you whispered when no one else was listening, storing them like precious jewels in the treasury of heaven to return them to you as abundant blessings in due time. The pain you've endured, the tears you've cried, the battles you fought in silence, all of it has not weakened you, but refined you like gold in the fire, preparing you for a future where you will look back not with bitterness, but with awe, realizing that the very things you thought would break you were the ones God used to remake you into someone stronger, more compassionate, more grounded in His Word, and more aligned with your divine purpose. This is not the end of your story. It's a turning point, a divine inflection where despair gives way to hope, where confusion gives birth to clarity, where spiritual drought is answered with a downpour of anointing, and where the shadow you've walked through becomes the evidence of the light you now carry. Because God never left your side, not in your darkest night, not in your lowest valley, not even when you doubted Him the most. He stayed, He waited, and now He moves. So take heart, beloved child of God, and rise from the ashes of discouragement with a renewed sense of confidence, knowing that no mistake has the power to cancel God's calling on your life, and no human judgment can override divine favor. For you were not created to live in fear, in guilt, or in hiding. You were created to shine, to speak life, to walk boldly into the blessings God has prepared uniquely and lovingly for you. Today is not just another date on the calendar. It is a divine encounter, a holy visitation of grace upon your soul, an answered prayer in the form of a message you were meant to find, hear, and believe, because everything within you needs to be reminded once again that this journey you are on is not aimless, that your steps are not wasted, and that the God who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it, even when you are tired, even when you are doubtful, even when you have no strength left to keep going. You are not here by chance. Your life is not a cosmic accident, and your identity is not defined by what others think of you or by the mistakes that tried to define your story. Your identity is rooted in the unwavering truth that you are a child of the Most High, chosen before the foundation of the world, loved beyond comprehension, equipped with divine gifts, and called for a purpose far greater than any pain you've encountered along the way. And when you feel the crushing weight of your emotions, when the silence of heaven make you question your worth, when the road ahead looks impossible and every voice around you is filled with doubt, remember that faith does not deny the mountain, but it dares to believe the mountain can move, not because of who you are, but because of who God is, and He is still the God who does the impossible for those who believe. So lift your hands not in defeat, but in surrender, not in hopelessness, but in expectancy, and declare aloud, even through trembling lips, I believe, Lord, that everything will be fine, not because I know how, but because I know You, and You are faithful. Let your prayer today be filled with thanksgiving, not just for what God has already done, but for what He is about to do, for the doors He is opening, the enemies He is silencing, the wounds He is healing, the relationships He is restoring, and the future He is unfolding before you like the rising of the sun after the longest, darkest night.